Great. Again, thanks for joining. And I'm John Murdoch. I'm the CEO here at Faster. Really appreciate you joining today to hear the panel. And I talk about faster than the algorithm, selling more in the era of AI-powered commerce. As I mentioned, I'm John Murdoch. I'm the CEO here at Faster. Have been with the business for over a year and a half, partnering with Ryan and the team you see here to bring a very exciting product to market. But today we thought we'd talk about some of the trends that we're seeing in the industry and in our customer base. But before we dive into the topic and the discussion, I thought I would go around the panel just to let you introduce yourselves and your background. So Ryan, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm CTO at Faster. I just hit my 4-year anniversary, so really excited to be here to see the maturation of both the product and also the industry. Just you couldn't pick probably a 4-year time frame with more seismic shifts in the way everybody's e-commerce works, what AI has provided, but also the new pressure points we're seeing in organizations. And also to see the maturation of our product as we try and meet those trends and give people new platforms and new ways to address that market. So couldn't be happier to talk about this crazy time we're all living in right now.
Cool. I'll go next. So I joined 4 years ago as well. Oh, I should say my name is Alex Pirate. I head up marketing. I joined 4 years ago, the same day as Ryan, and it's been a mild ride. I used to be a customer, and so I've been in e-commerce brands for years, and I switched over to working with Faster because I was obsessed with the product and the platform. It made my life so much easier, actually deploying content on the site. And since then, it's almost a completely different platform. It's just grown so much, and I'm really excited for what's coming next. Yeah, I won't say too much now, so I'll pass this over to Asaf.
Yeah, and hey there, guys. My name is Asaf Noguera. I work on the solution side here, and I've been here for 10 years. So it's been a long, long time. And it's been a wonderful ride. I've been able to see the platform from when it began, just as purely a banner creation tool, all the way to what it is now. And so it's been a joy, and it's been great to see where we're going, all the plans we have in store. So very excited for the future.
Excellent. What an esteemed panel we have lined up. So, so I've been here about a year, and I just have to say that this team has really impressed. I mean, the innovation that's underway inside of Faster is incredible. My experience prior to coming here, I spent in the early part of my career a lot of time in the marketing services space. And over the last 5 years or so, I was part of a software company at the analytics and the data layer. And so as I've moved into Faster and working with customers at this end of the spectrum, is really an exciting time for revenue teams, for commerce companies, and for organizations as they look to reshape their digital. So we're excited to kind of kick it off, share some thoughts and perspectives that we see as we're out in the market. And thought we would kind of tee it up with just some framing of the discussion today. I'm sure everyone would agree we're in the early innings of a new era for digital, and it's really exciting to kind of see this start to unfold, see real use cases starting to be available to companies and to brands. And certainly AI is driving this and is really transforming the user experience for the entire digital journey. And so we'll talk a bit about that today and what we see in our customer base working with commerce teams and brands and retailers. But there's a variety of new capabilities. There's changing expectations inside of in the world, inside of users. And there's a lot that you can do with conversational, and probably that gets a lot of attention is really, kind of the conversational end of the spectrum. But what you can now do with that and kind of bring that into your workflows as a business agentically is very exciting. And so the future of digital is very dynamic and very exciting. And we're in the early innings of it and starting to see some really high value use cases in our customer base that we're excited to kind of share some perspective on. The other framing of the conversation for today on this change in this new era is really around how discovery and consideration of purchasing is the behavior behind that is evolving. It's no mystery that SEO has been replaced in large part by a lot of chat search, and so now we're moving into a world of optimizing SEO to optimizing for the LLM models and optimizing for just a different workflow to to get your message out into the world and to drive people to your brands and to your products. So that's changing traffic patterns and shifting behavior of all of us, consumers, but also business to business. And conversion now with these changes in patterns and traffic volumes is the most important and one of the most important aspects as you think about your digital initiatives, is really to ensure that you're converting at the highest rate possible. You're deeply engaging with customers, and you're engaging your visitors in new and unique and interesting ways. And then the last framing that I'll pose, and then I want to pull the panel in for some thoughts, is around the new capabilities that this now brings to commerce companies and to businesses that we support. Your ability now to convert a higher percentage of visitors, to to experiment and to drive ways of improving your sales volume, your AOS, your AOV, and all of those metrics, and your ability really to kind of go deeper with your relationship with your customer to drive repeat purchasing. So it's an exciting era. We're in the beginning of that, of what will probably be a decade-long evolution to the future. And we're excited as a business to be working with many of our customers to help them through this transformation and to see some real-world expertise and experience and experiences hitting their sites. So Ryan, I'd like to kind of pull you in first, just for some perspective on this shift in this new era and what gets you excited.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak some to my personal experience in how use of AI has changed so much of what we can create on the platform. When we talk about the innovation we've seen over the last 2 years, that acceleration has been us adopting tools just for platform creation, us adopting GPT, us adopting agentic co-pilots as we're writing code. And I can compare that to what I hear across our customer base. Like, hey, we have all these new amazing tools, but what we're trying to figure out is how we bring that to market, how we get that leverage, how I use the new capabilities I have in my job. And one analogy I'll make and see if it resonates with the rest of the panel. One of the in my past life, I was working at the parent company of Vistaprint, and we had spent 10 years moving to this new architecture where you could have 50 different teams moving in parallel, and everybody had their own little microservices solving one really specific core problem. And the reason we moved that way is like, oh, we could have these teams of 5, each of which could achieve something powerful. But then the challenge we had is how do we bring all that together and make that feel like Vistaprint.com, make that feel like a single unified platform. And where we're sitting at the other side of this AI revolution is, man, now we got to pull together 50 different things and make that feel like a site. It really does sap that ability to turn around on a dime and innovate. And I see a really similar pattern with the direction that a lot of sites had gone over the last 10 years of, we're going to go super composable, best in breed. We're going to have 50 different niche solutions. But now the challenge is, how do you get each of them to accelerate at the speed you're moving with AI? And how do you make that feel like, well, I have this one part of my site that's dated, doesn't really tie in, doesn't fit the experience that I'm innovating on day after day after day. And we're seeing this kind of pendulum swing where, man, maybe all of that choice, all that radical proliferation of little niche tools that I have, maybe that's a drag on what I'm able to do and whether I'm able to move as fast as AI is letting folks have, maybe a tighter, more consolidated, more unified tech stack and platform can achieve.
Yeah, I'll jump in and say at this point, like most tech stacks are like a Jenga tower held together by chewing gum. And as like someone in marketing, when you're trying to deploy something, knowing that you have to go through a dev ticket and a prayer to get things live is you can't be agile. You can't make those quick changes that you want to change. So being able to leverage AI, and it's not a case of replacing people, it's a case of empowering them to do more and to be able to actually keep up and overtake competition. And it's I know there's actually pulled together a couple of examples of some companies that are doing this like in the wild right now. So I know that Walmart is actually using AI-driven automation for alt text and like descriptions and data across all their SKUs. And they've got a 30% faster time to market just because they're using that automation to do that. And I won't go through all the examples because I definitely pulled up too many. But like, so Nike is also doing a lot of automating and testing on like hero banners and CTA copy and things. And they've seen an 18% uplift in engagement. And that is due to using AI toys on the back end that can really drive that real life in the wild, conversion and data. But it's also improving the customer experience. So it's not just giving people the bog standard and like everyone sees the same hero and the same message. A lot of people, I think like Sephora are using dynamic personalized homepage heroes and knowing their customer search patterns and their history and giving them what they need and like making their entire experience personalized. And I think that entire digital UX of really like, yeah, personalize it for each customer makes a massive difference.
Yeah, I agree. I want to build on something that you said there, Alex, which was like I think super insightful. Is that this new wave of AI brings a lot of capabilities and a lot of power to empower people, right? To get more work done, to experiment more and to drive more. And but it's being added into kind of inefficient processes, right? Or on top of inefficient processes that are spread across, a variety of different, kind of tools and point solutions. And so, it is a challenge, I think, for companies to really bring AI in and actually supercharge their processes when maybe the fundamental underneath, process wasn't optimized to begin with, right? So it's hard to go faster when you're applying it to a process that sits across many different systems. And then I think the other thing that I would build on that is somewhat related to that is that we're now in an era where you need to optimize journeys across, multiple points you're not just talking about optimizing a page or a single layout. Now it's about helping helping our customers really kind of evolve through the journey. And that's exciting. That's really where we're kind of, unlocking a lot of potential. And I think it just starts with, beginning to, test and to, bring in a couple of use cases where you can start to begin. You pointed to a couple of brands that are starting to kind of, look at ways to bring the technology in new and interesting ways. So I want to kind of take the conversation now to the consumer expectations part, and would love to kind of bring back a point you just made there around personalization, Alex. I think, and I know personally speaking too, when as a consumer, as a business buyer, it's a very stark difference when you interact with a brand or retailer that is personalized and unified and has a really engaging experience or an immersive experience versus a brand that doesn't, or a retailer that doesn't, that's just using a template or it's just using the same theme as their competitor. So I think we're in this moment where the consumers are expecting more, and retailers and brands need to really kind of step up to deliver. Would love to kind of maybe pull you back in, Ryan, get your thoughts on that, or Alex, if you want to build on that.
Yeah, one of the things we've seen, and it is because each part of your e-commerce stack tends to be pretty myopic. Your e-commerce platform that you're selling on the web and mobile they work a certain way and they work within the bounds of like somebody's landing on that device or somebody's landing on that site, and the start and end of what we're going to do for that customer is when they're within our ecosystem. So really common things that feel kind of basic that we see failing to be realized across so many e-commerce brands are, hey, I'm advertising on Google, I'm doing some ad spend, I'm advertising on TikTok, I'm doing a major campaign where I'm showing somebody something that they engage with because they like that shirt or they like that bed. And they go and they click on that link in TikTok and they land on a page where that product is nowhere to be seen. And I've felt that. I hate that every single time that happens. Like I land there on your product listing page, and now I got to go search for the thing that I just engaged with one click away. And so that's what we're talking about when we say like we really need to unify across that journey. Little things like that that make it feel like, oh, this was thoughtful. This is part of the way I, as a customer in 2025, want to experience a site. I'm popping from one device, one application to another, and I want to feel like you're part of my education, my discovery, figuring out that this is the right product for me.
Yeah. People attention spans are really small, so you need to make it as unique for that person when they're shopping as possible, because honestly, you're just not going to keep their attention the way you would have done 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago, if I'm honest. Especially with things like TikTok and things out there, everyone expects things to be personalized to them. Like algorithms in your social media give you the content that is most relevant to you. So you expect that the same sort of stuff across websites as well. So they absolutely, if you're not doing that, then you're going to be losing out on sales because people are not going to spend the time looking for the item.
Yeah, totally agree. And if we build on that to, to bring in a couple more kind of perspectives, I think you hit on this a little bit too. Channels are now reinforcing one another, and more and more of the customers and brands and retailers we work with are looking for ways to differentiate across that experience, right? So that your in-store is supported by your online, and your online is driving to in-store, and easier said than done, but there are some really real world ways to accomplish and build these experiences, and they do require some thought and some creativity, and I think we're seeing kind of the return of kind of a you know a creative and a design point of view as this user experience changes, and new tools are available. I think the brands and retailers that are going to win are the ones that really give it some thought across, a broader experience set. It's more than just a page. It's a, multiple, journey.
Mm.
And then I think this is coming for B2B too. And we're starting to see kind of the early signs of this. And, you can look around at a lot of different research, talk to a lot of different businesses that have B2B motions, whether it's, distributors or or resale, or some sort of B2B motion in their business. It's coming there too. I mean, we're all consumers, right? B2B buyers are consumers at the end of the day. So it's an exciting time to look at all of these kind of changes coming, and to see the interesting brands and retailers are stepping up to really differentiate through how they engage their customers.
Mm. I also think something that is thinking about just the customer journey as a whole, that's changing because of the way that people are searching for content as well. People aren't just Googling things anymore and then looking through all of those web links and those meta descriptions. The way search is using means that people are changing their shopping behavior. They're doing, using ChatGPT or other systems to be able to say, I'm looking for XYZ. And I know I've had this conversation individually with all of you before, but it's now the way that I shop, because it's like I can shop about 5 different sites at the same time without actually having to put in that legwork. So it does it all for me. And then trying to work out what is showing up in AI searches. And it comes down to just really, really clear product data. So making sure that your product description is clear, making sure that you have those clear imagery and customer proof points, really good reviews. That's the sort of stuff that AI is pulling up. But knowing that, if I'm shopping via like ChatGPT, for example, I ask for it to give me links to products that I'm looking for, like say sneakers or a sweater or something. I'm going straight to the PDP. So your PDPs need to be more than just an image and some a add to cart button. You need to be having cross-selling capabilities there, and they may be skipping the PLPs altogether. So having that information on that page is crucial to really, really driving those conversions. So it's not just about thinking about the buying journey, like from social media and across your site. You have to be thinking about the way that they're shopping as well, which means that your PDPs are more important than ever before.
Yeah, one of the things I'm curious whether you've experienced this. I've also probably switched entirely to using GPT for, well, pretty much everything I do, but for shopping as well. Because a lot of the indexing, because the models, sometimes they'll do like a real-time web search. But a lot of times GPTs can be serving up what it knew about a year ago. What I've also found is that a ton of times that shopping brings me to a product that either isn't the newest or isn't in stock. So another critical thing is showing that next best product, showing on a PDP that, maybe that product simply isn't there. That's happened to me a few times. Or it shows up and it's like out of stock. This isn't the one we'd recommend. Like, yeah, it had a lot of great reviews a year ago when that page got indexed, but making sure too that your back catalog, that your products, that everything that you're showing, it's going to be, hey, there's a really great alternative to where you just landed, because maybe they landed on one that's a little more dated, wouldn't be the one that you would highlight to them if they landed on your homepage and your PLP and your PDP. But to your point, that happens sometimes, but that's happening a lot less.
Yeah. And think about it. A lot of people, when they search as well, the things that they're searching, especially if they're not used to doing it every single day, the sort of information they're putting into it, they'll say a reasonable everyday shoe or something. Um, they might not be saying a bandwidth of price or color ranges. So it's your opportunity to really cross-sell across that as well. And show them other assortments across your site, because people just are not going to be spending the time to look for it. It will make Christmas shopping very much easier this year for me.
Yeah, you bring up some great points. The other trend, I think, to build on that is, I think the searches that we're doing now are not keyword based anymore, right? We're moving into these questions and answers types of search queries, right? And a conversation back and forth with with choose your search, platform, or your AI platform. And underneath, I've started to notice, and some of the trends that I'm seeing is that to get that answer to be surfaced, the content on your site has to be a lot richer and deeper to answer those questions, and to help the AI, understand that you're an authority for that answer. So it's really started to move from this, SEI, SEO rather, for keywords, and actually into making sure that your sites and your experiences actually have answers and can communicate with the AI in a way to let them know that there is an answer here. So the question and the answer. And so that's bringing a lot more rich content to digital sites. And that's one interesting trend, is that now the thought that goes into that PDP of what needs to be there is beyond just, kind of keywords and brief descriptions. You have to get a lot more richer in that. So it's exciting to kind of see that, I think there's this new age of refreshing digital that's about to occur. And a lot of it, as we've said, is driven by AI. And I think the brands and retailers who are out in front are the ones who are out there innovating, refreshing, starting to really kind of program and tune their sites for this new era. And so maybe we take the conversation now to so why isn't everybody just innovating and out in front? Like what is getting, what is in the way for businesses and brands and retailers? And we certainly work with a lot of customers and meet with a lot of companies. So we have some kind of perspective on some of the challenges. And so, I think what I see as I'm out there talking to companies and, C-level teams and these are larger businesses and complex businesses with long product lines and, rich digital, properties and a lot of technology across their business. The number one obstacle is they just move glacially slow. We're coming out of an era of heavy tech investment into the cloud over the last 10, 15 years. And a lot of that infrastructure and a lot of that digital has been built on really development resources and development cycles. And so everything is kind of complex and slow. And so I think that's one major challenge we kind of see that's kind of getting teams stuck is that, they have these kind of slow release cycles built on complex, bloated tech stacks. And so it's complex, it's a complex infrastructure and perhaps needs to be kind of rethought in terms of how you reframe your view of your digital properties. And then I think the last place that I think teams are stuck are really around getting real metrics, right? They really kind of struggle with getting to the real bottom line revenue metrics, the true conversion rates and the true revenue contribution rates of decisions that have been made. There's been too much focus on like vanity metrics and, clicks and time on site and, those types of things are helpful directionally, but aren't, really kind of the metrics that will help you get digital transformation sold in the C-suite. You really need to be speaking to, revenue. And so there's a lot of obstacles in the way. And, Alex, Brian, I'd love to pull you in on your thoughts there too.
I do actually have the perfect quote for this, and it's if your tech stack is built for 2018, it's about as useful today as a Nokia 3410 is at a TikTok convention. And I actually think we can bring that forward to saying 2020, if not a little bit later as well. But you're right. I think if you're not having your marketing team be empowered to be super agile, is only going to harm you. They need to be able to change. Technology is rapidly changing, and they need to be able to deploy content just as quick. And then it comes down to your site speed and how everything works. If you've got things that are slowing down your performance, and I know I'm stepping on Ryan's toes here because he's the expert on this, but it's not about just being quick and trying to be cutting edge. It's survival at this point. You need to have a quick site. Everything needs to load quickly. People are not waiting around for that. If something like isn't loading immediately, they're already bored. And it looks glitchy, it looks terrible, and it's just a bad user experience.
And you see it, with Google so much. Like Google's struggling right now to figure out what they're doing in the AI world. They're eating more of their vertical content on their search results by putting their own AI results in front of people. Everybody's wrestling with SEO. So the last thing you can do is also harm your SEO by having a slow site because they are dinging people on that. And I know that's something that everybody wrestles with. But this is sort of that moment where I think just as like therapy for all of our customers on the call, we say like, it's okay. You're okay. Every single customer we talk to, they say, yeah, you guys don't understand. Like our tech stack's a mess. Or we've had a couple of acquisitions. We're still trying to figure out how to get those things together. Yeah, we don't really know how to get value out of our analytics because we switched to GA and it got worse, or we're moving faster now. So I look at my heat maps and they don't even match up with what's live on my site at this very moment. I never have talked to a customer. We talk to amazing billion-dollar brands doing really cool things on their site. Nobody says, yeah, it's perfect here. Data's pristine. We're crushing it. Love the tech stack. We got no debt. We can move as fast as we want to. Everybody's in the same boat of figuring out how they get from where they are right now to where they want to be.
Yeah, well said. So I want to kind of shift now to, really kind of bringing this back, to real tangible like examples. And, for those that are joining that haven't worked with Faster, we have long list of, very large, complex customers who, turn to us to solve some of those problems that we just discussed and to help them, innovate and move forward. And here's just a few of the customers that we're proud to have and support. Each of them has, complex channels and complex markets and large product catalogs. And the challenges we just discussed are, can seem daunting, and where do you start? And I think Faster, in our panel today, would say, just get started, right? You can take a lot of the concepts, and we want to bring this into some real world examples for everyone, and get these tested and, on your site in a matter of, hours or days, right? You can break free of this, legacy tech stack and then just start to innovate in different parts of your site. Alex talked about, a couple of brands like, Sephora and Nike and others. And, we can see this across the industry where, they're innovating in, parts of their digital experiences. So don't try to take it all on at once, find a place where you can get quick value and go get after it. So Faster, our product and our solution to help, brands and retailers is we bring an AI-powered platform, and we have a brief kind of demo that we'll show right after this, where you can build personalized, immersive, and really different experiences, on your site. You can get them out, quickly. You can test and learn in a rapid way. And to the unification across your channels, this isn't just for your, for your main.com site. You can bring this out to, third party channels and other, other digital properties, and really just unify. Ultimately, it's about driving more revenue. At the end of the day, that's what all of us are in the business to do, as, leaders of brands and retailers and businesses. Is we want to grow. We want to continue to, grow our businesses, and that's revenue. And it's about increasing your revenue. And you do that through, bringing all of this to your digital experiences, so you can drive more conversion, more consideration, and win in your respective markets. So Faster Workspace, and Asaf, I'm going to pull you in just a minute to, take us through just a quick demo. What Faster Workspace is, it's a full design canvas. So all of the creative, design capabilities that you would find in a Figma are available inside of Faster Workspace, or a full CMS and a deep personalization and optimization suite and full analytics to help you kind of really measure the real outcomes from from your experiences and the changes that you make, on your digital properties. We bring a very strong kind of a agentic and automation layer to drive, world-class site speeds, to optimize your core web vitals, and to really deliver content at scale to all of your customers around the world. So we optimize at every endpoint, wherever they may be. Inside of Workspace, we have quite a few and growing number by the day of AI co-pilots. And these are tools that help, obviously AI-powered tools that help you and your team get more work done and to drive more revenue initiatives. So everything from, helping, really reinforce brand guidelines, all the way through to, image generation, 3D generation, and most, really importantly, driving compliance and SEO. And then we have a very rich kind of app library where you can pull in different components. You can build your own components and put them into the library. We have a Figma file import. If you have a Figma team who wants to, use Figma as the primary design tool, not a problem. We can get that imported with a design plugin from Figma. So a very rich kind of platform to really kind of extend what you can do inside of Workspace. So excited to just kind of give everyone just a bit of a look at that. Workspace can be added to any commerce platform. We work with a lot of Salesforce, a lot of Shopify, a lot of BigCommerce, Magento, and other platforms. So no matter what your commerce stack looks like today, you can kind of get started in any one of these. No development, no IT resources to get this on your site. And then we can integrate in and orchestrate with with a variety of different data sources. If it's not in your commerce platform and you have inventory feeds, or you have segment or first party data that you have that you want to use to really build the experiences, we can pull that in as well. So it's a really rich kind of workspace to really move your digital forward. Talked about our customers, and I think with that we wanted to kind of move to Asaf. Maybe you just taking a few minutes to give folks just a view at Faster Workspace and what you can do.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm going to start sharing my screen here, guys. Let me know once you can see it.
Looks great.
All right, perfect. So this here is my workspace account, and just started here with regards to content, right? That is, at the end of the day, we want to make the ability to create any type of content easier and faster, no pun intended there, so that you can cover the content across your entire site. Whether that's your homepage experiences and making your homepage easier to manage, being able to schedule that without any hangups or hiccups that might occur on the site, the ability to introduce PLP banners and interrupters right within the grid itself to break up with usually pretty static to beautifully curated landing pages so that your marketing campaigns or your emails, like was mentioned earlier, right? So many times when you're hit with an email, you just jump to a category page where it's just the pure product grid. Being able to introduce interrupters or be able to take them to, again, a landing page that is curated based on that ad, based on what got their attention on social media is a huge, huge driving force between our platform, all the way to if we want to rewind the clock, maybe you have tons of print content, right, that you're sending out and you want to be able to bring that same experience online and generate catalogs, these digital experiences that the user can interact with, that you can start with that PDF, but then be able to manipulate, add dynamic content within there. So again, we want to make sure we have all of our bases covered here. What I have for you here today, guys, is just purely a homepage experience and just showing you how easily that content can be managed. So here we have our content slot. At the moment, nothing scheduled quite yet. If I did want to schedule out this design that we have so far, all I have to do here is just drag it into the window here, and I can select exactly the date and time this will go live on the site. As we start growing the account, right, we'll have different types of content. Maybe we want to break out our content into different slices. Again, this gives you that nice comprehensive overview of of when everything will go live on the site. If you have multiple changes, you can go ahead and in easy fashion here, be able to grasp again exactly when content is going to be hitting the site. If we want to edit that content, all we have to do is just jump right into it. And this will take us now into our editor. With regards to the content here, you can see that I've built out quite a bit. We have some motion content, we have some different layouts, but adding content to the actual elements that you're building here is very simple. All we have to do is either if you want to just bring in an image, just pull it from another source, copy it straight from your dashboard, and that will bring it in directly into view. I can then go ahead and as you can see here, it's a WYSIWYG editor allowing you to drag and drop and be able to interact with this content however you see fit. The beauty of it is exactly as you've positioned it here in terms of the creative is how it will translate to the site. And what that means is that now I can not only start designing, so I can have my creative team in here, but then I can have other members of the team go in and add in the more interactive elements to this content. I can make sure that for example here, because this is straight to web, I can go ahead and in the design tab that you're seeing here, under all of the settings that we have available, we also have accessibility and SEO, allowing you to go in and tagging your images. You can use AI to be able to produce the text that is shown there as well to make sure that everything you're building each step of the way is something that again is tailored for the web experience. That's something that's going to bring value. We've spoken so much about SEO and how important it is to make sure that you have the right content on the site to drive up the results from Google, results that ChatGPT can scan through. So the ability to be able to tag each element, each image that you see here with the appropriate terms is huge for our clients, and being able to make sure that that is consistent across the site. The beauty of it here is that anything that you're building within the content within our platform here, let's say I wanted to go ahead and set this up as a component, all I have to do is just right click and select create component. That alt text, those elements, that content again that I've spent time putting together, the animations that I put in place, all of it will be saved and stored so that all I have to do next time is just focus on those key things. I can swap out the image, swap out the alt text, but that what I put together there from a design point of view, anyone can come in, be it a designer or be it someone that's maybe on the more dev or e-com side, they can make use of these libraries and be able to create this content on the go at any point. If I still need to make changes, let's say I want to go ahead and add an animation to it, I can go ahead and do so still. All I have to do here is just from the Interact tab, select what animation do I want. Do I want this to move about the page? Do I want it to slide in from a certain area? Again, everything is just it gives you the ability here to just click and select exactly what you want to happen at every stage that the user might be on this page. And when it comes time to dynamic content, everything we have so far here that I've shown you is more, I guess, on the static content, right? You're putting together this banner, putting together the buttons, but elements like this, where we have this nice stylized, simple as 1, 2, 3. We've had clients like, for example, Pixie Beauty, who have built quizzes where it's a blend of both their design, but the product imagery that you see here is something that comes in real time into your design. The product name, the descriptions, right, that exist. You've spent so much time in creating the correct copy, the exact right copy for those products that sit elsewhere. The ability to bring them through and repurpose them on areas like home pages, landing pages, and have that be dynamic so that you're always only editing that text, that particular copy for the product just once, and have that flow through wherever that product might be featured is huge, right? It's huge not only again for that SEO content, but it makes use of the time and effort that went in to the creation of that copy the first time. And with the platform here, again, anything that you're building in the way of a template, be it dynamic content, be it static content, I can go ahead and group the elements together. I can still add in those nice touches, making sure that everything along the way is as eye-catching as can be. So here, for example, I can go ahead and choose exactly from which direction the content will slide in. I can choose the timing, the easing. All of these elements here can come together to make this page not only one that brings together potentially multiple pieces of technology that you have on the site, but it's something that's eye-catching, something that, again, at every point, it feels like the page is something that's alive, right, with everything moving into position, really makes it eye-catching for the end user. And again, in terms of just the design point of view, many times our clients will have the more visual content like video, other types of content they might want to be able to bring in and embed. We want to give you at every stage, every point in the design process, the ability to visualize what's going to be on your site. So for example, here, the ability to show you live video content, whether it's GIFs, videos that you're bringing in, and showing you how that plays with everything else that it's being brought in as well is one of the driving factors here. And then we want to make sure that at every point, whoever may be in here can get a good sense of what this would translate like on the site and be able to, in one go, be able to, if we wanted to here, publish it. You can preview it. There are tons and tons of features to make sure that after the content's been curated, like for example here, if you wanted to pull through the accessibility checklist so that you can make sure that everything is tagged appropriately, you can do so. But the idea here is that we want to give you everything in one easy package so that you can bring in, be it again, content for a landing page, content that mixes and pulls directly from your inventory. We can do so. And I don't know if anyone else here, if Alex, Ryan, John, if there's anything you guys want to add, anything I might have missed here as well.
I mean, it's gorgeous. It's always gorgeous, and I'm always so excited to see what folks build on Canvas. A couple of things that are really gratifying about how we're seeing Workspace come together. And so Workspace is in beta now. We're getting feedback from customers who are in this platform and creating staggeringly cool things. That interaction system is completely rebuilt. And so the level of visual programming and animations and dynamic transitions of content, but also interactive elements. I want to click this and have that trigger a parallax of my products throughout a layout that would have been static, a year ago. That's incredibly exciting, and that gives us such a foundation for people to really express themselves, not just in the 2D of the canvas, but in 4D, I've got elements layering on top of each other and they're moving through time. Really, really exciting stuff. Cannot wait to see the shenanigans and craziness that you and Spirate and your teams are able to create on top of this. But what is really exciting, to John's points about the broadness of this platform and what we're able to achieve now, are the core bits of CMS and analytics functionality that we'll be laying on top of this. So one thing that's net new in Faster Workspace, and we're so excited about the release this year, is that we now have deep revision tracking. So every time you make a change and every time you publish that content, we're going to snapshot it. We're going to give that a durable record. We're going to pass that into our own analytics. So we're saying, hey, for that time window that you scheduled, for that, maybe it was 17 hours, this is how many people saw that experience. This is how they engaged with it. This is a down to that specific scene on that one version of that experience. This is the heat map of who engaged with that bit of content. That level of visibility, that level of deep attribution that you can tie directly to your revenue, that doesn't exist anywhere. That's what makes this a full workspace where you can run your e-commerce business, optimize your revenue there. Really, really excited about those two new bits of functionality we're laying on top of what was already an amazingly powerful design canvas and graphic platform.
Yeah, I have to say, as a designer, as someone who's in marketing, and after talking to all our clients as well, it's so powerful. It's impossible to show all the functionality and features in a like 5-10 minute demo. But going from something like Figma, where this is so similar and so intuitive if you've ever used Figma, but it's even better because you can add all of that interactions and those animations and effects and everything yourself, and you don't need to hand it over to a developer to then change and make small tweaks and things just so they can get it live. So all of that is done within here. You can collaborate as a team, you can leave comments, you can do all of that work the same way as you would do it in Figma, but at the end of it, you don't need to hand it off. And that is the most powerful thing in the world. The fact that there is no handoff is the fact that I can publish this myself. And then if I want to change it, I can do it immediately and have it live on my site in seconds. So that in itself is the reason I fell in love with the company to begin with, why I came over and joined 4 years ago. And like it's incredible. And that in its own is yeah, one of the most powerful things that you can honestly ever do for a marketing team.
Yeah, and when you look at, hey, I want to accelerate my workflows, I want to make the best use of how AI is supercharging my design process, my content, my ideation, having that loop where every day I can look at my analytics that is directly tied to the success of the experiences I was showing yesterday, pick which revision I want to use as the jumping off point for the next 3 iterations that I want to test. Simply not possible if everything's a handoff into a 2-week release process. All of that needs to change, or there's no purpose to having this AI acceleration. If AI can give you ideas to design in minutes, and then you're waiting weeks to see that go live, you're not getting any signal out of that data. You can't take meaningful action. This is why we're so excited about what we're able to bring to market, really tightening that loop. However fast you want to move, you can move.
Yeah. And honestly, it's the idea that all of this is in the hands of the creative team and the marketing team. And it means that you don't have to spend hours and hours updating all of this for ADA as well, because you have AI doing that for you. All those images, alt text, and all of those things, as long as you, in the back end, we can just say, you know, who you are, what your brand voice is, tell it what you want it to sound like for all of your images, and have that done automatically for you. It means that some of the worries and concerns that people have said about the design team having the ability to publish things is about making sure it's optimized, but that's all handled for you. And you can still have your experts go in and tweak things and change a few things like that. But honestly, it does 90% of the work for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
100%. Yeah. So yeah, everything you see here is AI is working behind the scenes to optimize this code and make it publish ready. You can take this, as is and, completely bring it onto your site and it'll be fully optimized for, for page speed, for, core web vitals. It'll all be edge optimized out to, the variety of different visitors that see this page. So there's a variety of things underneath the surface of this beautiful design where AI is just doing the work, for you, and for the business, the marketers. The other point I want to make, we talked about analytics. So as you think about like experience optimization, this is like one layer of the experience, and then there might be another and another and another as that customer follows the journey. AI is also helping really automate all of that analytics and that analysis and that optimization for you. So not only telling you, the heat map on this particular screen, right, but what happens next, so when a customer interacts with this video and then goes to the next screen and then goes to the next screen, that's another workflow where AI is really going to help to kind of surface the patterns that happen across multiple touch points, right? Not just on this screen, but the several flows downstream from that, all the way to the cart, or all the way into your store, or all the way into your channel. So there's a lot happening beneath the surface, but this is empowering marketers and merchandisers and revenue teams to really kind of take full control of the digital journey. Love it. Great demo, Asaf. Was there anything else you wanted to?
No, I mean that
Okay.
covered it. And
All right.
again, yeah, all good.
Awesome. Well done. Well, listen, I know we're coming up on time, so why don't we just bring it home with just a couple of final kind of thoughts. First, listen, in today's day and age and in this moment, it's about really driving more sales, right? More revenue through your digital touch points. So using AI, personalizing everything that we've talked about today, and that rapid launch and learn cycle, super, super important. So I want to thank our panelists and Asaf for the demo today. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today as well. It's been a good discussion on our end. Hopefully you got some good takeaways from this. And if any of you would like to reach out and learn more about Faster, please go to our website, getfaster.com, and you'll find a way to engage with us there. So thank you again to our panelists, and thank you for everybody for joining us today.
Thanks, folks. Great conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you all.